Who, what, where, when, why? These are questions that, are ponderable. And as I sat down today after spending the weekend at the annual NORWAC conference, Northwest Astrological Conference in Seattle, which I do every year and have since 2008, welcome to the season of Gemini. And I was looking for a particular word plaque that I created earlier, and I didn't create it yet. And that word plaque would have read curious. This is essential Gemini, wanting to know the who, the what, the why, the where, the when of anything. There's a basic flavor that Gemini brings into any equation brought on by Mercury, which, by the way, is the planet of significance for this week. When I was looking at all the aspects that I was going to cover, all of them were Mercury except for the moon, which today, the 26th, happens to be the new moon in, you guessed it, Gemini. So let's go wander into that realm of curiosity and see where might it take us as we ask questions. So many different avenues I could spin this off on. We'll start off right away with the consideration for the Sabian symbol for that new moon. Because, as always is the case, new moon is a time to set your intentions for what is it that this next lunar cycle might have you ponder in such a way that you want to fill it out. Be curious about things. The Sabian symbol for this particular new moon today is workmen drilling for oil. Oh my God, what an image that brings up so many questions. And the keynote, the ability for the knowledge which ensures wealth and power. And I'm sure that many in our overtly modern societies these days are, driving hard for that wealth and that power because, after all, it has been, epitomized, raised on a platform higher than many other things in our world quest as being absolutely vital to why it is that we're here. And I questioned that very idea myself because as a soul being, there are so many more dynamic and interchangeable energies that we came to share with one another that, supersede those material drives for that wealth and that power. The key word for this particular Sabian symbol is ambition. Oh, and yes, it has been played up, if you will, that ambition is definitely a requirement in order to succeed in this world of challenges and bumps and things getting in the way of what it is that you really know you need to do, or at least you've been told, informed in so many different ways that this is really the epitome of why you incarnated. And I go, no, not even. And also in honor of our moon, today, the 26th, the moon will be going out of bounds until the 30th. So this particular new moon is not just a basic, oh yeah, that glowing orb. Well, I use that tongue in cheek because it's a new moon. You can't see it. It's just a little teeny sliver which is going to show up tomorrow. Out of bounds, it means that as far as, are setting our intentions for this particular new moon, think out of the box. There's some dynamism afoot here that our lunar dances, might incline us to take chances, peer, if you will, out of the box of what it is conformity is saying you need to follow this particular path. Oh, I don't buy that for a minute. There's magic afoot, but you have to be curious about all the aspects of this living experience that we're embroiled in, to ask the right questions, ask the right people, honor, if you will, that interactive space that curiosity opens up between us, and see, take the time to listen to one another. There are things afoot that, if you're too busy trying to overthink and pre-organize what it is that you want to accomplish, you're going to miss out on entirely the dynamism of that exchange of energy between you and somebody else, that if you're willing to listen, feel, if you will, is there a soul connection there? I have to tell you, there always is. But are you aware of it? Are you really paying attention? Is your soul enlivened by your exchange of energy with somebody else? And on what level is that liveliness going to inspire you? To inspire means to breathe in, accept that quotient of life substance that is trying to get your attention. And like the word behind me, which is kind of like it fits into the curiosity realm. Wonder. I think wonder is a beautiful, absolutely dynamic term that is an invitation to not know all the answers to things before stepping across the portal entrance into the next realm of reality. I don't know, but I'm going to be curious. I want to wake up to a new version of me that in any moment is going to say, well, hello, Jeff, and who and how are you today? Also, very early today, in honor of our mercurial quality to consider as we dance into the realm of Gemini, Mercury has entered Gemini. Today the moon will enter Gemini. Thus, the new moon at 5 degrees of Gemini. Let's pull up a chart. So, here we are. Monday morning. Can't trust that day. Every other day. This is an adventure we're invited into every Monday, which, by the way, is a moon day. And to have a new moon on a moon day, on a Monday, can you feel the potential for being awoken, waking up, if you will, to the potential for something new? Yeah. And Gemini's quest for what else is there that I might, wander into? What is it that I want to learn? What is it I want to converse with you about that potentially, if I'm willing to listen, is going to be new, something I haven't thought of before. In this last weekend's astrological considerations, you got what, 400 plus people wandering around. We got presenters presenting considerations on so many different versions of how this astrological tool can be used, can awaken parts within each of us in specific fashion to expand the parameters of the tent of our life that we thought we knew and perhaps might need just a wee bit of adjustment as, this new awakening process is saying, oh, I didn't think of that before. Probably my two favorite processes, courses, presentations was one on Robert Blaschke's use of the Sabian aspect experience, where it gives a very unique flavor to the language. I think is a good way to use it, which is also a mercurial consideration of the conversational, energetic connection or linkage, if you will, between any 2 points in a chart that is at work at any particular moment. And you can look at it from, your birth chart, which is always a good place to start because it's good to have a foundation to work from, to the events that inspire us during life to wake up quite particularly in new fashion to something that has come around the bend and into our focused attention in a particular moment, and compare that language that's being created on the Sabian symbol level between those planetary aspects and between the version of us that we thought we were comfortable with up to that point, and discover it's like it's time to wake up to something new, something exciting that we may have overlooked somewhere along the way. And there's a percolating kind of curiosity. There's that term again, that mercurial curiosity. What else is there? How can I, engage? How can I shuffle into my reality these alternative views that I hadn't thought of before? And why? And when might be the most appropriate time to do that? Well, on that one, I would always have to say it would have to be now. There really is no other moment. We might remember something. Oh, yeah, we missed an opportunity back along the way. Memory, those are all just memories. And the potential for our memories not to be as clear as we might think, because in each moment, the life experience invites us into alterations of what it is that we are, who we thought we were, who we think we are, that are not the same as what that past version in our memory seems to want to hang on to. And the future is just kind of like, it's a good idea out there saying, come, I have more to show you. But it doesn't show you yet because it's not in the current here and now moment. So being alive it's like having your antenna up in the here and the now and paying attention. What kind of things synchronously, simultaneously are going to awaken you in this moment that you didn't realize? There was something dynamic just right there. But if I was, thinking about where I had been or where I might go, I just might miss out on that. And you don't really want to miss out on life. Life is alive, it's current, it's in this dynamic moment that we live in right now. And being in Gemini right now, the moon, Mercury, the sun, and Jupiter getting ready to shift out of Gemini into Cancer. These are the energies that are afoot this week. And if we look at this chart, we'll notice our Mercury right there today, 1 degree of Gemini, in a sextile to Neptune up here at 1 degree of Aries. I want you to sense into what thoughts, there's our Mercury consideration in Gemini, what levels of curiosity might be stimulated by a sextile. Sextile's a strong aspect in the sense that these are elements, air, Gemini, fire, Aries, that really get along quite well together. The air idea, there's inspiration. There's that breathing in again that, says who, what, why, when, how, where. And Aries, the fire element, it says, I want to do. This is essential fire. It's the impulse to action. And so, by curiosity. And what kind of action might Neptune stimulate? Neptune is creative imagination, a realm of, illusions, dreams. You could potentially get thrown off track easily if you get too carried away with what the inspirational quality of these, ever increasing capability to think that Gemini represents right now. And at the same time, might there be the potential for inspirational thoughts infused with creative imagination that could spill things off our tongue that we hadn't anticipated? Oh yeah, this is in the realm of possibility. So stay awake. Like I said, keep those antennae up. There might be synchronous things that have been waiting for this potentially awakened moment that you and we find ourselves in, that are going to bring things for us to pay attention to as our soul is invited into the next level of the growing experience. Tuesday, a Mars day. Okay, is Mars involved in this equation somewhere? It is, but I'm gonna stick with the mercurial dance. Here it is at 3 degrees of Gemini, and lo and behold, look at this long, strong trine aspect. Trine aspects mean that planets are in the same elemental thing, and this happens to be in air. Air is the zone of thinking, our capacity to, arrange factors in a meaningful fashion with our mental capabilities. Air, just picture it. We're surrounded by air all the time. It's a wavelength upon which we are invited to share energy with others, with not just human others, all other things. But this particular air trine that is forming between Mercury and Pluto up here at retrograde in early Aquarius is saying, and in an Aquarius fashion, I want to invent something. I have my curiosity has been stimulated to say, from a Plutonian perspective, those old ideas, they got me to a certain perspective of what it is that my life dance is about. But Pluto says, I suspect that there are factors afoot that you aren't cognizant of as well as you could be, and I am going to expose them to you. Might there be, from an Aquarian perspective, a new invention that's just right there, ready to break the surface of reality? and inspire not only you, but the whole group energy, which Aquarius stands for, to take a next step in the evolutionary process, potentially. And Mercury, down there in Gemini, very much at the helm of the experience that's going on right now, is saying, let's think our way through this. Let's communicate with one another in an effective enough way that we can provide enough space, available space, for something new to appear that, couldn't appear before because we weren't providing that opportunity. We were so full of our thoughts, so full of our ambitions to do this and be that, and whatever that has gotten in the way of being able to have our clear antenna up. Not focused on where we have been or where we may be, but in this moment, am I awake? That's a key factor in this consideration between Pluto and Mercury. It says, Pluto say, I want to awaken you to opportunity, but I'm going to require something of you that may not be as comfortable as what you had hoped for. Because Pluto, the ruler of Hades, comfort, yeah, the requirement always when Pluto is in the consideration is that, something is going to have to die in order for there to be the potential for a new awakening that can't and couldn't happen unless that creative space that death provides to, what? Death comes along and says, don't be scared of me. What I'm here for is to remind you of the dynamism of being alive. Death is a, portrayed, overlaid, if you were, with so much discomforting energies in our modern world. No, we don't want to talk about death. We don't want to bring it into any equation. I'm scared of it. Yeah, that fear factor always in play there as an option to be utilized, manipulated, invented into a space where we can cause discomfort among other people so that they might follow the ideas of what it is that we would like them to think, rather than be ingenious within their own capacities of, dynamic, percolating, swirling levels of creation, always afoot, but are you paying attention to them? Yeah. Are you paying attention? Mercury, remember? Who, what, where, when, how, why. It's afoot right now. It's in the mix. What is it that you might find yourself willing to release, to let go of, that has, been, possibly so seemingly vital in the process of getting you to where you are, that maybe might be standing in the way of a new awakening moment? New moon. Feel that. New moon out of bounds. Feel the, curiosity, step across a plane that is out from under the control of the king, the sun, leadership, that seemingly, or at least claimed, authority to, be telling you what you need to do in order to not rock the boat. Well, maybe the boat needs some rocking. It is happening. Are you awake enough to Be inspired into a new version of you that your soul came in this particular incarnation for this particular moment to awaken to. Be inspired by. Engage with others in a new fashion that you had not thought of before, but are willing to share energy with others in this investigative process. Go a couple more days ahead. We've made it to Thursday now, the 29th. And we have Mercury here. You see 7 degrees, 48 minutes of Gemini. And the Sun here at 8 degrees, 29 minutes of Gemini. This is known as a superior conjunction, which means Mercury's on the far side of the Sun from the Earth. It's still Mercury. It's still the Gemini season. That solar drive, the Sun, that is there in early Gemini, has opened the floodgates, if you will. Mercury being that close to the Sun is called Cassimi. And Cassimi means that you are in the heart. Well, Mercury is in the heart of the Sun. Sun is regality, authority, kingmanship. And when a planet moves through that zone called Cassimi, the king, essentially bows to this visiting dignitary, offering them the opportunity to, make edicts. Be the king, be the regal person in this moment. And how would you, if you found yourself in that kind of position, want to present something with the full backing of an authority of leadership? Because that's what Cassimi provides. And this is Mercury, the ruler of this particular Cassimi, Mercury, Sun, Gemini. There's so many factors that can open up when you spill the beans of a Gemini dance. Because Gemini is also, or Mercury, can bring in the inclinations, if you will, to mercantile, business, shops alongside the road, a stand where you're selling the fruit, the products of your gardening experience. It can also have the capacity for asking questions about your connection to the healing modalities. Have you seen the Carduceus, the staff with the entwined serpents or serpents around it, being the potential to awaken to the natural healing capacities that serpent wisdom is inviting our hearts into a zone where we will remember that if we want to heal or be healed, the capacity is within us. You have it. Someone else cannot heal you unless you are willing. And by extension, your willingness is a remembrance of your capabilities to be much more dynamic than you ever thought possible in facilitating the healing. It has to come from within yourself. Think on this. Ask questions. Be curious. We are in that Gemini mercurial zone. The Sun, and this basically, Cassimi lasts for about 24 hours, where, the percolating thoughts. So this is Thursday this week, which is, by the way, a Jupiter day. And what does Jupiter say? Oh, yeah, that's right. Jupiter is still in Gemini. You know, and Jupiter, largest planet in our solar system, is saying, don't ever think small. Can you feel that Jupiterian energy there? It's like, yeah, there is opportunity that is, I can feel its presence. And Jupiter is saying, yeah, go for it. What else is there that you may have overlooked, that may be overlooking you because you're not paying attention? What else has this week got going for it? That may be just about all that I want to say for this particular week. Be alive. Be curious. Be adventurous. That moon out of bounds, it tickles a wilder side of us. And you couple that with the moon's capability to infuse one another at an intuitive potential level where you actually feel the essence of what is transpiring when you get together with somebody else. Are you paying attention? Are you hooked up at a soul level with them that is really part of the basic reason that our soul's spirit, if you will, has come and incarnated into the physical realm to explore the fashion of what it means to be in the material, where the senses are right there at the surfaces. I can feel things, I can taste things, I can smell things, I can see things, I can hear things. And at an energetic level, there's a magic that is, it's swimming through all the levels of creation in every moment. And as a soul being, it's that I want to tune into as I engage with you in any moment to discover, why is it that our souls came together at this particular time to open up, explore, if you will, as to what are the next steps in the soul growth dance that we came together to awaken. Have a good week. I will see you next week.